all three of you guys are doing work that amplify and lift up, that shine a light, that make visible both the genius and the promise of Native folks. And I'd be remiss if I didn't make space at the beginning so that you each could talk about your work. I'll start with you, Tricia. What are some of the ways that you are highlighting Native folks in your work?
So in addition to what you had in the intro, I think probably the primary reason I'm here is in 2017, I co-founded an organization called Aina Momona. And that was very much, I'm going to pile on to Ray again, very much thanks to First Nations and Ray and others who we've been doing this work for decades. We came together, and it was truly their willingness to see the work we were doing that really helped us scale in very powerful ways. And one of the things I just love about this organization, we are absolutely Native Hawaiian led. Our founder is basically the godfather of activism in Hawaii, Walter Ritty, and is amazing. And if you've never heard of him, please Google him. But the board was mine, and it's all Native Hawaiian PhDs. And I think part of that was to just create an entity, exactly like what Michael just said, that showed we are capable of leading, that we would not be ignored, that we needed to be seen. And I think the most powerful thing we've done as an organization is probably three things. One, we're probably the loudest in showing up for numbers. I was smart enough to hire smart millennials. So they've taken over our social media. So if you are looking for Native Hawaiians, we're probably the most prominent of the messaging entities. So I think that's made us seen. Two, as an organization, just really focusing on hiring Native Hawaiians and uplifting. Some of the most powerful things we do is our staff fairly recently, some are off public assistance for the first time in their lives. And sort of just investing in our own community, thanks to support from entities like First Nations. And then third, very much inspired by the fact that First Nations saw us when others didn't. We've been very, very active in the Maui wildfire relief. And and I was just telling Michael about this, because we were so inspired by people taking the time and energy to find us when we were very much invisible from the circuit, we went and found undocumented workers. We went and found the COFA community. We went and found the disabled community. And the money we raised, so we raised money quite quickly, we made sure to reach other people in the margins. And I think it's that cycle of uplifting, that cycle of elevating voices, making sure other communities are heard, is what's going to lead to exactly what you said, a liberated and just society. So that's probably the coolest stuff we do.
Thanks, Tricia. Heather?
Well, Change Labs, the organization I run, is all about Indigenous entrepreneurship. So I'll ask this audience, have any of you been to the Grand Canyon or Monument Valley, Mesa Verde? Cool, I see some hands. Have any of you driven across the Navajo Nation? That's where I'm from. Okay, so if you have driven across Navajo, you probably saw a lot of land. You probably saw a few gas stations, McDonald's, KFC, Taco Bell. We have plenty of those. But did you see a Native-owned business, any culturally cognizant businesses as you're driving across the reservation? If you haven't, I'll tell you, there's none. And that's not entirely true, they're just invisible. And that's what, tying back into the invisibility theme. So I think it's hard for, even myself, I left the reservation when I was 18, I went to college, and I was gone for about 18 years. And even coming back, I didn't understand why do we always have to eat at Taco Bell? I know so-and-so makes fry bread. I know so-and-so makes Navajo tacos. Why don't they have their own store or restaurant? And the answer to that is quite complex, and I'm sure we're going to get into that tonight. But the irony to all of this is, I think, as Native people, we are hyper-entrepreneurial. We've been entrepreneurs for decades, long before the white people came. And yet, because of the ways that our treaties were designed and whatnot, our entrepreneurs now are forced to run their businesses from their homes, run their businesses from the informal economy, from flea markets that usually operate 1 day a week just for a few hours. So what we do at Change Labs is we're trying to create a space on the Navajo Nation where entrepreneurs can thrive, where they can come and they can build their business skills, access the financing they need, and most importantly, network. Meet other people who are of a shared mind, who want to see change on the reservation, because there's still even a stigma around that. There's a stigma around running a business, there's a stigma about wanting to create that change. And I think the most powerful thing that we offer in that is this physical building, the space that we just opened in June, which was a 6-year journey to get there. But the lack of physical spaces on the reservation that are dedicated to local entrepreneurship and to that visibility, our space, I think, is the first step towards showing, we do have a community of entrepreneurs here. We do have a community of change makers, but we need a place where people can feel safe to come and share those ideas.
Michael, I'll close with you. What are you all doing?
What are we all doing? Always a good question. No, I think I was sharing with Trish as we were sitting earlier that I think we have the easiest job on the panel here, in that groups like Heather's and like Trish's come to us every day with their hopes and dreams, and we get to find funding and support them. So we have like the coolest jobs in the world.